welcome to the Sharpe Club this great Monday evening. You're saying to yourself, Larry, wait a minute. It's late for you. It is. It's a little bit past 9 p.m. on the East Coast, and I am an old-ass man, so I tend to go to bed early. But this time, I'm not going to. I get to stay up late on Mondays and do the cool Sharpe Club. Why? Because Kit Cabello gives me permission to do so. Otherwise, he is mean. He does not let me do it. He will get mad at me. But today, he said, because I was on his show this morning, so he gave me special permission to stay up late tonight. You might say, who is Kit? Well, I'm going to tell you who Kit is if you don't know him. You should know him because I have a star-studded panel of three amazing people to talk about a very important issue. Is or has the RFK Jr. campaign actually affected the establishment? Or is it just another thing that happened and went back? And we'll have a chat about that. And part of my star-studded panel starts with the man, the myth, legend, the journalist out of Chicago, even though I have better pizza than him. That's okay. The man himself, Kit Cabello. How are you, sir?
Such violence. I can't believe it. This is the first and last time I'm going to be on your show ever. I can't believe it. It's highly offensive. It's good to be back on. It's long overdue. You've been killing it with your power panel, and I'm glad that I could be part of this one because there's a lot to unpack here and also talk about because this is in relation to everything that happened. Last week was the DNC convention here in Chicago, and it's RFK Jr. So I'm looking forward to being introduced to the other panelists. So let's just get this show ready to start, man.
Let's do it. I also have the one and only super talented and super cool. She is, I don't know what to call her. Maybe I'll call her, I guess, a political commentator. She'll tell me what she is. The one and only Anna Matson. How are you?
I'm good. I don't even know what I am. I always say I'm going through my quarter life crisis. So I mean, I'm just finding my path. But yeah, I do politics. I do opinion pieces, whatever. I just try to educate people about what's going on. So people get the real uncensored me. And I always say I have typos and everything. You're going to find that. I don't have a team behind me. It's just me. And I'm just figuring out this election and many more. And, everyone's on the road with me. I am running for local office too. So I guess I am a little politician myself.
There we go.
Oh, we got a politician here. I can't believe it.
I know.
Now we have to now scorn her now. That's what we have to do now, Kit. We have to scorn her
exactly.
Now. I'm going to bring in. Yes, let me bring in one more person. I actually met this gentleman at a Bitcoin conference, believe it or not. He's a Bitcoin enthusiast and a comedian. And he's being so good, he has to fly. And he said, hey, I'm going to show up anyway because he likes Kit. But I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know why. The man himself, Isaiah McCall. How are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going? I ended up stopping at a very prestigious restaurant before taking my flight back to Texas. I'm at Burger King, the one and only. Yeah, but I had to come on the show, and I swear my background noise will be as minimal as possible.
Well, we'll know that you'll be having it your way, so that's a positive thing. We're good about that. All good. See, I got some jokes too, Isaiah, not just you. I got some jokes too. It's all good. So, guys, if you want to follow these people, please follow them. You can follow Kit over at Hard Lens Media on X or Twitter. You can follow Anna at Anna R. Matson. By the way, 1 T, not 2. And everything I made earlier today. And also you can follow Isaiah at Afro Reporter, all on X. And their information is on the in description, show description on both YouTube and on Facebook. So let me ask the question, if I could. Is this campaign, or has this campaign, will this campaign make any real impact? We look at someone like Perot. He did make impact. It changed the rules on debates. It changed the rules on ballot access. I mean, for the worse in general, but they were afraid of him. He made impact. But when Nader ran, I feel like he just ran and he was a flash in the pan. I feel like he didn't really make impact. Am I wrong?
Well, who wants to shoot first?
See, this is really, I'm a youngin'. This is what I know, so I just know Obama, I know Trump, I know Biden. So, that's where my perspective comes from. From that perspective, I think no matter what, I've said for a while now that I don't think this campaign could lose because it brought such a different perspective. A different conversation has opened up. And now, everyone tries to put us in boxes like, oh, they must be liberal. They must be Republican. They have to be this. If they believe in that, it must be this. So it's just opened people up to the conversation that, okay, you have a Democrat that went independent and now people are trying to say he's Republican. Maybe he's just an independent, or maybe who cares about the labels? Let's just look at his policies and just decide for ourselves if we like them, So I definitely think.
I think a lot of people like the label. I'm not saying it's the right answer, but they like it. If I call myself a Democrat, I just vote blue. Life is good. If I call myself a Republican, I vote red. Life is good. I don't have to think. And my talking heads tell me why the other guy's evil. So I'm good. My talking heads tell me why the other guy's evil, and I'm good. Kid, am I wrong? I mean, you're an independent. You're not a Democrat Republican.
Nope, neither. So look, when I look at RFK Jr.'s campaign, I have my criticism of him, and it has to mostly deal with his stance with Israel and the apartheid government. But when we look at what he has faced off against in this Democratic primary, again, his family is a dynastic family that's associated with the Democratic Party. When you think of the DNC, when you think of Democrats, you think of the Kennedys. And look at what he faced off against. He faced off against a hostile primary that was doing everything it can not only to deny him Secret Service protection, but at the same time to call him a fringe candidate and deny him ballot access as a quote-unquote legitimate Democratic Party candidate in a primary for 2024. Then as running as an independent, still denied Secret Service, and then facing lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit from the DNC and various states across the country that is denying him ballot access. And you only can push somebody so far. Now, again, he had what it took to actually, maybe get a possible electoral college vote, maybe get that coveted 5% or above. But he was probably he was the closest candidate in which we wanted to see somebody maybe run a third party candidate. Gone are the days of Ralph Nader, and they're sure as hell not going to allow somebody like a Ross Perot to ever come into the fray because they don't want the two-party system disrupted. And another issue when we look at RFK Jr. is that he did something that even that nutless wonder Bernie Sanders would never do, and that is actually acknowledge the fact that the DNC was committing election fraud and denying a real primary to be given to Democratic voters. And a controversial statement here, if we really want to break it down here, and I say this as not somebody who's a Republican, but the Republican primary is more Democratic. Say whatever you will about Trump.
True.
At least his constituents and supporters participated in the system. Now, we don't have a democracy. Theoretically, we have a constitutional republic, but we have an oligarchy. And so when we see somebody like RFK Jr. just finally, I guess, reach the point of no return, we had the DNC convention here. There's this fake joy for Kamala. The city gets or at least the federal government spent $76 million on this convention here in the city of Chicago, and everyone's hyped about Kamala. So, if you want to give a big FU and ruin the political weekend and take away Kamala's storm, be RFK Jr. and just endorse Donald Trump. And what are people talking about? RFK Jr. endorsing Trump.
So right. Oh my God. All right, Isaiah, give me your 2 cents on this one.
Yeah, I definitely think this is a different election than in years past. But right now I'm in New York City, and you go to black barbershops here, and you have this tone of, oh, you know what? Like, Trump wasn't really that bad before, and you would never hear something like that in a black barbershop. So I'm not sure if how RFK impacted people that are more lower class, not lower class, just middle class, but definitely among
Okay, I go to a barbershop. Don't call me lower class, damn you.
Definitely among it's sparked an internet war, I'll say. And the thing that I find kind of weird is RFK Jr. just bringing up points in his speech that were just 1 in 3 kids now have diabetes, and when and now back when he was growing up, it'd be you get 1 kid of diabetes in your entire life. And the thing I just don't understand is seeing people argue about that and like make fun of him. And I saw on Reddit they posted his face like, look at this loser, look at this jack off. And it's just I'm like, what do you have a problem with the guy's policy with his speech?
Precisely.
So it's just alarming that we live in this polarizing world.
But I feel like what you just said is that Trump has made more impact than RFK in the black community. Is that what you were saying, or was that just a side comment?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, he's probably the most American ever lived at this point. I was just thinking that I was at the gym. It's like, not only has he gone from wealth, real estate tycoon, whatever, to president, he also got shot. So it's like, oh wow, what's more American than getting shot? So he's really doing a great job, I think. But
and he's a felon.
He's a felon.
Well, hold on. Wait, let's look at those felony charges, because we all know that they are, no pun intended, trumped up. When we look at these charges, again, they are a waste of time. And looking at it, whoever, again, decided to think that was a good idea, now you got to enforce it. But how can you enforce it when, in fact, all these legal trials, what they will end up to be is one big nothing burger? All right. This is just the Democrats and so many other people who were triggered in 2016 and in 2020 of Trump more or less not getting impeached or ending his entire administration.
Oh, but Kid, hold on. Let me give you the conspiracy theory, and you tell me if it's true. Okay, I'm gonna give you conspiracy. I'm not saying it's real. I'm telling you what I heard. Right. See, the reason why he wanted to have RFK here and not make him the VP is because Trump might be going to jail coming up here in September 18th. So they can then put RFK Jr. in Trump's spot with Vance still as the VP because Trump's going to jail. Tell me, I'm not making it up. I actually heard that.
Trump is not going to jail. Trump is not. He's part of the club. Okay. And while the establishment is against him, he's a rich person. I hate to tell this, everybody, but the laws of the land don't apply to him. Okay. So that means he has FU money and he's part of that team and he has a diehard supporting class. If they want to make him into a martyr, good luck. Okay. Because anyone, again, if we look back at what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, the fact that Trump dodged that bullet, I don't think we'd be having this conversation right now. Hell, I don't know what we would be looking at right now if something did happen to Trump. I don't think Trump's going to go to jail. Of course, the establishment, the DNC, wants to do everything they can. But at this point, it is moot. It is null and void. And this is all just a waste of time because people are emotionally triggered about a guy that is no different than any other previous administration. The only thing is what Trump thinks that the president should be in charge of the military and the intelligence community. But no president's been in charge of that, I think, since what? JFK. JFK was, dare I say it, maybe our last true president that was in charge. Since then, we've had nothing but puny, weak, neoliberal presidents who again, are subservient to Wall Street and big banks.
Tell us how you really feel, Kit. Stop holding back.
No. But the thing is, you have people that are still hypnotized by Team Red and Team Blue. Now, let's be clear here. I don't think we're going to see a third-party candidate. As much as I like the Libertarians and Greens, I don't think they're going to really gain a lot of votes. What's going to happen is probably Trump. Right. Trump very well could succeed in being reelected, but the problem is that both parties, again, when you have a system that has purposely manipulated voters and the thing that this is how it needs to be, you're going to have again a point of no engagement, no concern, and people falling back.
That is my other worry. Anna, let me move to you on this one. What do you think that? Do you think that more people are going to check out or check in? My gut says that a lot of people right now who supported Trump are still going to support Trump. I think they still want, and I think after he got shot, they're still on board. I think the Democrats who are supporting Biden but were kind of checked out, once Harris came on, they're re-energized. So a lot more Democrats, I think, are going to start jumping on board. Harris did energize them. But what about the RFK supporters? Go ahead.
I mean, I think for a second, I really think it's just Kamala Harris is the viral moment right now, but the virality will go down.
Thank you.
And so at some point, hopefully, I've made a few videos about this. Like, hopefully, at some point, people are like, okay, wait, what are the policies again? Like, she's all great and everything, but like, what's the substance here? For Kennedy supporters, I don't know. We're all a mixed bag right now. I mean, some people are like, I'm MAGA. Let's go. And then there's people like me, like, I swear every hour I change my mind on how I feel about this situation. But honestly, today, a lot of things came out today that were pretty impressive. Trump, I forgot who the interview was with earlier that dropped. And he actually took a little bit. Not Tucker, it was a different one, but he took
Sean Ryan.
I think so. Yeah, where he took a little bit of accountability. He was like, you know what? I did have bad people around me. And he's like, I didn't know anybody. You know, I come into DC, it wasn't my world. So that meant a lot to me that he just said that. That's something from the very beginning. I was like, I just want accountability. Like, that's it.
I have said that before. If you look at what I say, there's only one similarity between Obama and Trump. Now, I bring up Obama and Trump, and I'll also bring up Clinton and Bush. Clinton and Bush, their first, second Bush. Thank you. Second Bush Jr. Second Bush and Clinton. Thank you. Second Bush and Clinton. Both of them had pretty good first years for themselves. Like, they got what they wanted done. Obama and Trump both struggled to get what they wanted done. Why? Clinton and the second Bush were both governors. They already knew how the system worked. They already had people in place. They had been through this before. Obama and Trump didn't have experience. They came in cold, not knowing, exactly your point, Anna, having the wrong people, not knowing who to do. And the swamp could easily pick them up. You know, Clinton knew which swamp creatures he wanted, and so did Bush. They already had swamp creatures in their back pocket when they were governors. So they knew who they wanted. They were able to be more effective for sure.
And I hear like that's the excuse that like, or explanation, whatever, if your glass is half full, half empty, whatever, that I hear from Trump supporters all the time. He didn't know, he surrounded himself with bad people, whatever. But finally,
you just make Kit mad.
I'm sorry. but it was different actually hearing it from Trump in a very like humble way. So
yeah,
like,
he doesn't do humility very well. That's true. That is impressive.
No,
but Isaiah, you're like you push for a couple things.
Well, what was Kit mad about?
Well, can I just add in here? Okay, so look, Trump, at least to his credit, and again, you got to take this with a grain of salt. You know, he said that he was against the war in Iraq, but then again, he then surrounds himself with people of the Bush-Cheney administration. And the thing is, like, maybe he knew it, maybe he didn't. I don't know. Let's give him benefit of the doubt. But there's a lot of people within the early first Trump administration who were part of the Bush-Cheney administration who thought that Trump would be a biddable Bush Jr. clone and that Pence was going to be running the thing along. And you just can't. Okay, Trump, you're going to pick people of the Bush-Cheney administration. Do you really think these people are going to listen to you? They view you as a moron. And look, all right, Trump didn't do himself any favors in 2016, but when you surround yourself with Bush Cheney people, mostly Cheney people, they're going to think, okay, Pence, it's like business as usual. Trump's just going to be like Bush Jr. and just sit on his rear end and not do a damn thing.
So can I say like
he had to have known who these people are. He's part of that.
Hold on.
I have one question.
One other thing. One other thing.
Let us get in.
Okay.
Well, I have one question based on what you're saying, Kit, is what position then does RFK have to get for everyone to be satisfied, not to be, you know, for Trump to do an et tu brute to RFK and be like, hey, actually, you know, we're just going to make you a consultant. You can tell us where to dump our garbage. Like, where does he need to put RFK Jr. for everyone to be, okay, wow, it was good for him to bow out. Trump did him right.
If he were, he'd probably put him maybe somewhere environment or health. But I mean, that's up to Trump and RFK Jr. Whether or not he's part of that administration or not is up in the air. But what I was going to get at before that was because again, I am curious to see what part RFK Jr. could play in a potential Trump administration or a second one. But, you know, when we heard him during the first primary debate in 2016, Trump, you know, he said, I give these people money and they do what I say, meaning the politicians.
I remember he said that.
So he has to know, at least to some degree, who some of these people are. He just can't. I mean, again, anyone that's trying to defend Trump, like, he has to know who these people are because, again, DC is a scumbag hole. All right.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to answer your question, Isaiah. The best spot, believe it or not, is AG. That's the best spot. That's
Attorney General.
Attorney General. Yep. Best spot. That's the best spot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Now,
if he does, I'll be surprised. I'll
would
apologize to
never
you, Larry, and Isaac, and Anna. If they make him Attorney General. If that was the case, I would be surprised.
No. You asked which one is Attorney General. He'll never get it. That's offensive. You're correct, Kit. He'll never get it, but that's the one. So he'll never get the one. That's what he should get.
Did you guys see he's going to be on the transition team, though? He said today that Trump asked him. Yeah, I thought that was huge because it's just funny because I know that there's a lot of craziness with Project 2025.
Yes.
But literally, well, first of all, for people who don't know, Project 2025 happens every 4 years. Okay, this is not a new year. Like, the Heritage Foundation puts this out every 4 years for like the past like 30 years or something like that. Because it's just, when you have a new administration come in, you have like 10,000 employees that transition over. So it's just a plan is all it is to do that transition.
I have to grab a couple of super chats, guys. I appreciate it. Excuse me. Let me grab a couple.
Yeah.
Lunatic Libertarian, thank you for 499. Ross Perot had the money to reiterate freedom from the Fed. Yes. Endless wars and the extortion that taxes are. This race exposes the clown show to all. I do think that's a valid point. Ross Perot was able to literally buy a bunch of ads. He was on TV back in the 90s all the time.
Yeah.
He was able to buy the ads. It was he was a billionaire himself. He actually funded, he said he wanted to have 3 debates and he was going to pay for them all himself. He was like, I'll pay for all of them, the whole deal, the whole thing. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
Well, it's frustrating to learn because I didn't even know until the past few weeks when someone told me that he had dropped out and then came back in.
Yes.
And I'm like, maybe this is why an independent has never won. Like, you gotta we need a prominent independent that sticks it through, you know? And
well,
he
this is what Kit said though, right? When you have independents who aren't doing much, the establishment doesn't care. They don't touch them. They're not being attacked. They don't get punched. They don't get attacked. When they're doing something, that's when they put all the guns on you, and that's when you go, I surrender. My God, they're throwing everything at me. I surrender. That's the issue.
Can I bring in something? So Illinois is the most draconian states. I guess New York kind of maybe might be number 1. We might be number 2. I don't know. It's a give or take. But Illinois is very draconian when it comes down to third parties and independents.
Yes.
I already interviewed one person who's running as a Green Party candidate for the Illinois 13th Congressional District, and they kicked her off the ballot, and now she's a write-in candidate. And when you run as an independent, you need at least to get 50,000 signatures. Bare minimum, you need about maybe 25,000, maybe 10,000, but you need to get 50,000 because in Illinois, the Democratic machine purposely makes sure that every I is dotted and T is crossed. And so in New York, it's the same way too. And the thing is, at one point in 2010, the Illinois Green Party was a legitimate party until things happen. And the thing is, how does the Democratic Party work? If you're an all-star performer in the Greens or Libertarians, the Republicans and Democrats like Major League Baseball or the NBA will look for those all-star performers and pluck them from the 100%. Party too. They'll do that. And the other issue is that the media, the establishment, our institutions have successfully hypnotized enough people into thinking that third parties can't work, when in fact we've seen third parties almost make it. And look, we can also make an argument. Abraham Lincoln, third party independent candidate. Okay, we had him as a Republican.
Let me touch that not as far back as Lincoln. The Republicans in New York State try to recruit me every 2 years. Every 2 years, someone goes like, Larry, come on, run Republican, run every 2 years. They're like, come out of them libertarian crazy people. Come to us. We're way better. Not really, but that's fine. They do all the time. Absolutely. So I want to, Lunatic has one more. Thank you for 1999. He says, Trump, reality TV star, has emotional event for his movement, equals manipulation. 180-degree flip on the message on Harris, emotional event for their movement, equals manipulation. Equal reality TV programming triggers. And I think his point is the Republicans had theirs, Democrats had theirs, Republicans had, Trump getting shot. Now, Democrats have this, they go back and forth. It is very much emotional back and forth with not much, I guess, substance. Am I wrong here?
I posted a video today talking about Kamala Harris's favorability, because she went from like the least likable VP of all time, of all time polled, right?
Right, polled.
And then now, she's second in line, or she's polling number 1, I guess, because the polls haven't come in after the RFK Jr. endorsement. But she's in the lead right now for president of the United States after being one of the most unfavorable vice president of recorded history.
It's nice when Oprah's your best friend. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I'm saying.
So I looked at this. I'm like, so what really has changed? Well, $750 million. That's what's changed.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
That makes me look really good too. You give me $70 million, I become a very handsome man at that point. Yes.
So that's the only thing that's changed, and what they're doing. And if you look at all their top spenders, the top 10 spenders are all 9 out of 10 top spenders are all media companies. So they're buying ads, they're sending stuff in the mail. Every time you go on YouTube, and all of this messaging, it's a psychological thing. When you see these constant ads all the time, whether you think you're consuming it or not, you are. It's subliminal messaging. And it's actually very dangerous. And they're paying these influencers and stuff. And it's actually really bad, because they have started to, it's very obvious that they have paid bots to go and to take down all of this content on TikTok. Whether
all the time. Yep.
So, and it's not, I've posted factual videos about Kamala Harris and they have been taken down. And what it is
hold on now. I got to now pump us now because you are right. When I put anything with the letters R, F, and K in anything I do, automatically I get attacked on Twitter. I get attacked on Facebook. I get like the bug that gets low. Oh, and we don't even talk about the virus, but then I get a warning about what the virus is. I get all that stuff. There's all my stuff all the time. So because of that, guys, if you're watching right now and you're liking this, to help me get past that terrible person, Mr. Rhythm, Al Gore, Rhythm, that guy, to get past him, I need you to hit the like button right now. Click the button that is like. Do that right now. If you don't do that, I'm going to force you to eat whichever pizza you hate worse, either Chicago or New York. You must eat one of them. If you don't click like, you must do that. So click the button that is like. It does matter. If you're watching this on X, then please retweet this, Facebook, repost this, whatever the thing is, redo it. You can always subscribe if you want to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications, helps a lot. If you want to get your chat to the front, you can always super chat it if you're on Larry Sharpe YouTube, as you've already seen. You can also become a member if you want to. If you love me that much, maybe get me that 750 million that Anna's talking about, so I can become a great person.
There you
do
go.
that too. Become a member. Click, and it's $5 a month. Enough of them, I get my 750 million, and I become great. Like Anna said, I basically become Oprah at that point. I become Oprah if you do that. So if you want to be Oprah, become a member. That's how that works. So thank you for all of that.
By the way, Larry, just so you know, Larry, our interview that I'm going to be our interview is going to come out at 9:30 p.m. Central, and YouTube has limited the ads on it because we talk about RFK Jr.
Yes, that is the norm.
World heavyweight champion, been censored 9 times. 9 times.
He's been shut down more than me. Kit's been shut down more than me. Yes, 100% he has been. 100%.
And people think that the censorship is getting rid of misinformation, but the problem is it's not. It's getting rid of correct information. And when you are scrolling whatever and you read comment sections and all it is positive towards the Democratic Party, what do you walk away saying? Because we're all guilty of this. You read a comment section, whatever, and it's all positive, whatever, one way. You go to someone and you say, man, look what everyone is saying. And it's not really everyone saying that. It's the bots that are saying that. There actually is different information, but that information is being censored and stuff. So it really... This is such a problem, and maybe we need to talk about it more. Just really,
we got to do a different show on this one, Anna. So I got to bring you back for a different show. So
hey, count me in if we're talking about censorship because I just despise it.
Lunatic again. Thank you, my friend. He says Kennedy exposed ballot access and medical tyranny. Yes, and yes, I have spoken more about ballot access in these last 9 months than every single libertarian has ever spoken about it combined in the last 50 years. Really, you're 100% correct, and I'm so happy about that. Anna, Alexa says, always enjoy the show. Glad I didn't miss tonight with Anna. Oh, you have a fan, Anna.
Thanks.
You have a fan. There we go.
And so since I'm running for local office, I had to go collect signatures. I only needed 25, so it was really no big deal. I ended up getting 38 just in case because I had PTSD from looking at all the Kennedy stuff going on. So I did the math, and since he got 1 million signatures to get on all the ballots, if one person just went out and collected signatures, it would take 110 years straight of their life, because it took me 8 hours, going door to door, talking with people, because people don't just walk by and sign. That's typically not what happens. They want to have a conversation with you, especially since I was the candidate. They want to know my policies and everything like that. So it took me 8 hours to get 26 signatures. So yeah, it's a lot. And so when people are like, he's not campaigning, whatever. Okay, well, the other candidates didn't have to go through this.
They don't.
So that's really important.
My point, right? If everybody had to do it, that'd be fine. And this is a little piece from New York State. In New York State in 2022, when I went to get in the ballot, the actual guy who was running in the Republican line, Lee Zeldin, who was a sitting congressman, tried to get a second line in New York State by going through all the same things. He couldn't do it. He was the Republican nominee and a sitting Republican congressman, and he couldn't do it, which means that if the Democrats, Republicans had the same rules as independents, they couldn't make it. That's exactly my point, Anna. You are exactly correct, 100%. Isaiah, you've been quiet. Tell us a joke or something.
Yes, so much has happened. So much you guys have gone through. I think 2 points definitely should be made, and one's going off of your super chat is RFK Jr. is definitely more dangerous than even Trump. I would argue, and anybody who's read his book, The Real Anthony Fauci, can definitely attest to that. And that's because Trump. I mean, as much as we're all saying Kamala's vibes, Trump is also a lot of vibes. There's a lot of MAGA people who don't really know. They don't focus on the carried interest loophole. They don't really care about policy. There's like I love what he does. Larry, I think you got to see him there at Bitcoin Nashville. And the other thing that Anna was touching on about Kamala's base being AstroTurf, which I think definitely a lot of it is. I think the collective sigh of relief after Biden dropped is should not be discounted as well. And also, everyone loves a good twerk. They love that twerking that she did, and it's going well for her. So I think they want it, because even Larry might be able to test this too. When you see Trump speak, it isn't even the same vibe as 2016 where he was negative and then funny. A lot of it, especially at Bitcoin Nashville, I thought was just negative.
Yep.
We're on World War III. We're on this. It's bad, without any joke. So
no, you're right.
I think
he does seem a whole lot more bitter now than he was before. I agree. He's a lot
just think
more
he's
bitter
getting older. I think he's just
probably.
getting. I think he's getting
Get off
older.
my lawn. Is that who he's
Well,
becoming?
no, it's not that bitterness. Look, here's the thing: the man's publicly going up against whatever your opinions are. I wouldn't wish anyone to go through the amount of lawsuits and trials that he's going through, because people are that emotionally immature. Because the thing is, just imagine, put yourself in that kind of, even if it wasn't a case that large, if you were going through 4 or 5 different cases at the same time in 1 year, you're never going to know peace. And of course, you're going to be upset, because you realize that the Democrats, these politicians, and yes, even Republican politicians, are committing the same amount of crimes that they're accusing Trump of doing. In fact, you've got far more vile and evil people in Washington, D.C. So it's understandable why he's bitter. If we look at 2020, especially in regard to how that election played out, I'm going to say this again, just so that YouTube doesn't jump down on us. Yes, Biden won the election, but again, do we have election integrity in this country?
We have to say that no matter what. We have to say that.
Yes. Biden won, YouTube.
That's got to say it, YouTube. Have to say it. Sorry, don't get mad at us. We have to say those words.
He won. He won, YouTube. How do I know? Because I got hit the same way too. And I didn't even say anything. Anyways, sorry. You want to talk about bitterness? I'm bitter towards that. Yes. But it is rather interesting to see just how a little bit reserved Trump is, because he's got a treasure trove of political ammunition that he could use against Kamala Harris. And I was hoping to see maybe a little more of that. He's doing more of these personal attacks, but if he were to really go after her for policies and issues, he very well could once again gain momentum. But also, I've been reading reports now and following some various articles, and even following case study QBs with snippets from MSNBC and CNN. You have a lot of Democrats worried about how Kamala Harris will conduct herself in her first big interview, because she really can't speak. I'm sorry. Can we have a serious conversation here? I mean, she cannot put together a coherent, articulate sentence about what is happening. All except she knows how things can be unburdened by what has been, and
what
not no be.
matters is that we have to understand that the time for us to do things is always the time, and that time is now, because now is the time, and we're all affected by the time that is now, and now is the time that we all understand how we're affected by what is now this time. Don't you get that, Kit? Wow.
I just forgot what time it was. So I guess that's why I'm done.
There we go. Exactly. Let me grab a couple comments if I could. Rockface says, I'm giving 2 in a row. He says, I'm extremely frustrated with RFK Jr. I feel like I've been hoodwinked. I feel like he has let us down and jumped ship before even starting to aggressively campaign. All this rubbish talk about not wanting to be a spoiler just flies in the face of where independents should be. Of course, they should be spoilers. I think a lot of people feel the same way he does, right? He's not alone in that feeling, is he?
I don't think
I would go so far. I have volunteered directly with the campaign and on my own to help the efforts for a year or more than a year. I've gone as far as to making 2 websites, Kennedy Debunked, where I debunk all the propaganda surrounding Kennedy. I created Project Falcon, where it goes through everything he wants to do in office, as well as making a ton of content. And he was the first candidate that I've ever donated to. And I swore I would never donate to a candidate because it sickens me how much money is in politics. So I feel like
everyone don't listen to her when I run. When I run, don't listen to her. Now
and I'm running too. I'm
Yes.
running too, and I ask people for money. I'm like, oh my
There we
god.
go. Yes.
But yeah, it's a necessary evil sometimes. But yeah, so I feel like I should have been mad, but I really wasn't at first. I started getting mad seeing some comments and stuff from certain people. Like a lot of Trump supporters were like, the deal was Kennedy endorses Trump. That's it. I'm like, that's not a deal.
No,
right.
Not
Like,
a real
what?
deal.
So,
Yes.
but as
I
things are,
hated that so many people just said he dropped out and endorsed Trump. Like that was the entire story, right? Nothing else. And the worst part is, Anna, you and I both know they knew better and they still said it anyway. Like they knew that wasn't the deal and they didn't care. They're like, I don't care. I'm just saying it because I want everyone to think he dropped out. So I'll just do that. Yes.
I would say, look, ideally, I would have liked to see all the third party candidates make it all the way. Ideally, I would like to see the third party candidates get an electoral college vote and really upend the system and maybe get Congress involved in selecting who our president would be. I really wanted to see the system just, be shook into its very core. But hey, what you want and what you're going to get are going to be 2 different things altogether. And I was just shooting from the hip of ideally what I wanted to see.
Right.
The reality is, again, when you're faced with numerous legal battles and money is a thing, as well as the fact of being smeared and slandered by the media. And look, again, I have my criticism of RFK Jr. I understand why he did what he did. And I think it was a masterful stroke to deny Kamala Harris the weekend of being talked about in the Sunday shows. He took her spotlight. And I think, you know what, after what he's been through in the early days of this election cycle, as well as in early 2023, good. I'm all for petty revenge. I'm all for somebody just saying, "Hey, screw you."
Petty revenge.
No,
I'm all for
not.
petty revenge.
Look, I listen, as somebody who has witnessed the DNC convention here and the absolute fraud behavior and the arrogance and smugness of the liberals attending the DNC convention, I am more than happy to deny them their smiles and their joy, the joy of Kamala Harris, the approved vice president in U.S. history. The same Kamala Harris whose campaign went belly up in 2019, who didn't make it to the first freaking Iowa primary, and not to mention the same Kamala Harris that got destroyed by Tulsi Gabbard not once but twice, but also the same Kamala Harris who couldn't even keep her own staff together. She hemorrhaged about 44 people working for her. What does it say about her being a leader? What does it say about what it would be like for a Kamala administration? She had 47 people. Only
so real quick, though,
remain. Go ahead.
Let me
real
get to
quick.
Isaiah here. Oh, no, Anna, go ahead.
So I just want to say this to anyone, to Democrats that are mad, to Kennedy fans that are mad. I do not see Kennedy as the person who really made this decision. I feel like he was the victim in this and the DNC was the perpetrator. So they backed him into this corner. So we really
let me touch both of those pieces because I think where Rock is going is, I think you're right. I think Rock feels like he's been hoodwinked, right? That's what you're covering, and I agree with you. I don't think he was. I agree with Rockface and with Kit in that I really wish he hadn't dropped. I wish he had pushed forward. I wish all the third-party candidates had pushed forward, gotten to the debate stage. This is all the stuff I think Kit and I would both agree we'd love to have happen. But what are we going to get? We're going to get what we're going to get. I do think we weren't hoodwinked. I think, to be very forward with you, I think his team did not know how hard this would be because no one who hasn't been through this knows how hard it's going to be. You got to go through it. And the vast majority of people who go through this quit and never come back. I'm one of the only idiots who stays here and keeps doing it. Most don't do it. Most go, this is terrible. I'm done. When I was out of my 2018, I left 2018. I was $100,000 in debt. Out of 2022, I was $40,000 in debt. Yeah, I'm stupid. And I was $40,000 in debt and didn't get anything in 2022. 2022 was a net loss. At least 2018, I actually got ballot access. We got some victories. We made impact. 2022, I had nothing. Who keeps doing this? Idiots like me. but they didn't know. So I think to be fair to both Rock and RFK Jr., I agree with Rock, and I wish he had kept going. I think he should have. I feel like it's well, who cares? Keep going. I agree. And I think it wasn't a hoodwink. I think it was just too much. And the point is, even if you believe it, if your team underneath you begins to collapse and they stop believing, you can't keep going because it takes more than you. The bigger your campaign, the more body. At my height in 2018, I had over 100 people on my team.
Right.
If those people start collapsing, it doesn't work. You can't keep going, right? It's impossible.
Right. And I would have preferred that he made this decision at the end of September, but I'm sure they were looking at it like, they were very much volunteer powered. Like they really did not have that big of a team in the campaign. Everything was volunteer primarily. Yeah. So, I mean, they probably looked at people like me that did all this work on all this stuff. And I literally had just launched Project Falcon and it was so cool. It's still up, but
that's my point. I had 100 people, but only about a dozen were paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the rest were volunteers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Look, when we see how third parties, and independents, what they have to face off against, I do have this hope and dream of seeing third parties and a momentum of people being, getting involved in it. But the thing is, you have to remember, people do have breaking points. We're all built differently. Yep. I don't know what your breaking point is, Larry. Same thing for you, Isaiah. Same thing for you, Anna. We all have them. Maybe some of us can handle the threshold longer or shorter, give or take. But again, the move that was done on Friday and then over the weekend, RFK Jr. endorsing Trump, it was a way to take away any momentum of the honeymoon phase that Kamala Harris got. It was excellent timing. And if you really want to get back at the Democratic Party, because again, RFK Jr., to his credit, did call out even before the conventions were even happening, when he was running as an independent, said yes, the Democratic Party is rigging the primary. They're not having a free and open primary. And Kamala wasn't even voted for. She was selected. She was appointed. She was anointed. She was given the crown, and that was it. Voters,
I have won as many Democratic primaries as she has.
Yes.
But correct. It's funny because my criticism for the Kennedy team for a very long time is I said he needed a PR team because they just did not do anything strategic and they didn't word a lot of things correctly and all this stuff. And yet they pulled out here and everyone was like, maybe he's staying in and he's just using this. He's getting all the media on him to say his policies and then say, I'm staying in, but that didn't happen, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I just found it interesting because the last week it was like this big PR stunt, and it was that was my criticism forever.
Let me grab one more super chat. Alexa says, it was sickening watching the DNC convention, especially seeing even Luke Skywalker has joined the Empire. Yes, he has.
Well,
he did the Empire. Luke Skywalker did it. I can't believe it. But to use that same piece, why does the Democrats spend so much time dismissing and attacking RFK Jr. when the Republicans didn't? Because in their eyes, they are the Empire. And RFK Jr., he's part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. And he must be punished. Absolutely.
It's quite obvious when you have Bush supporting your party. I mean, I don't know how you could be a Democrat and not be puking every single day.
Well, because I meant, look, dude, he was dancing with Ellen DeGeneres and he got rehabilitated. Mark my words. I don't know when it's going to happen. Okay, but since Ellen DeGeneres doesn't have a TV show anymore, somebody's going to have a TV, maybe an Ellen DeGeneres light, a Coca-Cola light version of her is going to have a TV show. And mark my words, Trump's going to go on that stage too. He's going to be doing a dance and he'll be rehabilitated. And there's going to be some other mean person hurting everyone's feelings. And Trump's going to be like, I can't believe that guy or gal said those mean things, Why? Well, it's going to happen. Mark my words, it will.
Ellen DeGeneres was running Abu Ghraib in her studio pretty much, so I could see why she'd get along with George Bush.
Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I wish you were wrong on that one, Isaiah, but yes, that's true. She should have had that picture like this, but like her people. Remember that picture that girl had? Would have been amazing. Absolutely, yeah. But by the way, Kit was over there then.
Yes. Who wants to know about the horror story? Yeah. Who wants to know about the DNC? I could tell you all about it.
I want to know that question, actually. So I was reading, I made a lot of my writing on Medium, and I was really big on Medium for a while, and now it's become, I got censored on there, and it's really bad over there. But I saw there was a trending blog post. Someone's like, "Oh, here's my takeaways from the DNC," and like, "Oh, don't worry, the Palestine protests weren't really that big. They were being overplayed by everyone on social media." What did you see there? Because I heard a much different perspective from a friend who was there.
So there's two ways of looking at this. On Monday, when I went to cover the first day of the DNC convention, there was at least 4,000 people there. There were more people outside than inside the DNC convention on Monday. But to be clear here, and this was even brought up by Kashama Sawant when I covered with Nick and Jill Stein, their Disrupt the DNC event. There weren't a lot of people that showed up. There should have been more than just 4,000 on the first day. And yes, there was more coming in, but the numbers that the city was expecting never met the quota. I mean, I would love to say, oh yeah, there was hundreds of thousands of people, but then I'm lying to you. And then what's the purpose of me having a show if I'm going to lie? No way. There wasn't. There should have been more people, and you could factor in economics. You could factor in the fact that people might have just been burnt out, or just happy that Kamala is the nominee, or either that people don't care that there's an active genocide that is happening in Gaza.
I get people ask all the time though, like, what can I do? And I'm like, guys, boots on the ground. Like a lot of people want to do something.
There wasn't.
And I'm like, literally being keyboard warriors isn't working. We got to be out and about.
Another thing too, look, as someone who's covered the activist protests from, especially during the 4 years of Trump, 2016 to 2020, these activists, no matter what they were fighting for, environmental rights, women's rights, anything, etc., okay, form up somewhere downtown Chicago and then march in front of Trump freaking Tower. Now, I'm trying not to swear here, but all the time, that's what they would do all the time for everything. Now, Trump Tower isn't a government building. It's not Republican headquarters. It is a commercial real estate, hotel business area. Just because it's got Trump's name on it doesn't. But again, people went there for clicks and views. And I remember because me and my colleague Daniel, we would be covering this. And then one day I covered an event solo, and I walked out of the protest crowd, and I was in this one spot, and I'll never forget it. I'm seeing the leaders of these protesters sheep herd their people in a pen area set up by the CPD, the Chicago Police Department, to protest Trump like sheep. I remember calling up Daniel, hey, we're never doing this stuff again. I can't do it. I got too much self-respect. And what happened the day before the DNC convention on Sunday? You had pro-Palestinian protesters march in front of freaking Trump Tower. Of all things, a lot of these protesters and activists and organizers, some of them are not serious people, or these or that. They're not going to bring that same heat towards the Democrats. Now, there were people out there, again, calling out the Democratic Party. But what I would say to these activists and organizers, if Trump wins again, are you really going to be protesting day in, day out in front of Trump freaking Tower? Because
that's the question. That's a great question.
It's becoming pointless. And it puts a lot of rage in me because Trump isn't president. You have no business in front of there. You should have gathered all those protesters and have them in front of the DNC convention. But they didn't show up.
Hold on, I gotta be clear about this. There is a reason why they do this. And the reason is, as long as you can yell "Orange Man bad," you don't have to have any policies.
Yep.
None.
And some of them
just go "Orange Man bad." But he did this, that. Orange Man bad. But Kamala's horrible. But Orange Man bad. Do you not hear Orange Man is bad? You're right. Orange Man's bad. Vote Democrat.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like even when there was a time when we were covering the protests, like for migrants who were being deported, and this was before like the sanctuary city really became like a thing. This was the early stages, early concept, and I remember myself and Daniel asked this question to two different activists, and we're like, "Hey, can the city afford this? Can Chicago afford this? Yes, what's happening? Going through that arduous march from South America or Central America to the United States because of war on drugs and sanctions, etc. Come here into this country, I know I would die the first day because that's just what's going to happen. But can't we take care of all these people coming in here when Chicago is suffering from a lot of political corruption, economic insecurity? And you want to know what? We were told, oh, there's a plan. Don't worry about it. Or they went to the Coca-Cola Classic, calling both me and Daniel racist, bigoted, sexist, homophobic, and all these things.
You're in New York City at the same time. I'm not against migrants. I'm against migrants with no plan.
Yes,
if you have a way of integrating, if you have a way of taking care of them, if you have a plan, a way of making things happen, I'm open to the idea as long as you got a plan. We have nothing. We just let them in, didn't think, didn't care. Now we got all kind of problems, nothing but disaster.
I think a lot of people think that it's they're all here under asylum claims, and that's just
No,
that's not what's happening. And
some are, though. That's true.
some are definitely.
Some are.
And my mom came here from Italy, but my family came here legally. They came here for work. A lot of people that are crossing the border are coming for work, but that's not the proper place to do it. Like there's a path to come here to work. And if my family can do it, a lot of others can. Again, excluding asylum claim. That's a different subject, really.
So there's another thing too, Larry. Just real quick. So I had Jamal Green on my show today too, and Jamal Green, who's an activist, organizer, ran for our Chicago mayor here in the city of Chicago. He was one of the few people calling out the fact of the sanitary conditions in these migrant shelters, and yet you have Biden and Kamala Harris signing off and approving on this. Yet these migrants are being faced with disease, uncertainty, and no real future. And the American people are in turn due for something if Kamala remains in or becomes the president. And that has a lot of concerns. Look, I don't want to see Trump in office, but at the same time too, I don't want to see either of those two in office. But if you look at who is allowing this instability to continue on, Kamala is the, again, standard bearer for the Biden-Harris administration's policies. That's probably the reason why we don't see any policies up there.
Orange man bad, okay? Can we stop with policy?
Boogie.
Orange man is clearly bad. God.
And most people, I mean, let's be real. Most people don't want Trump or Kamala. Like, that's just a fact.
That's true.
So we make it. And honestly, we need to put some blame on ourselves. Like, a lot of it, we're the ones that are, other than Kamala, we're the ones voting these people in.
Yes. So well, no, this is the point that I bring up of this entire thing. This is where my head goes and why I even wanted to do the show. I do think as mistakes have been made, as people were not sure what happened, as the system attacked and crushed a lot of people, still, this was the first time that people talked about contingent election, that people figured out that parties were political parties and they were private organizations, that there are things such as, closed and open primaries, that ranked choice voting is an actual option for people, that ballot initiatives are a real thing, that ballot access is the average American had no clue. And this campaign, whatever happens, whether Harris wins, Trump wins, whatever, at least this did happen. And I feel like it opens the door for the future. That's what I opened.
Yeah, it opened the door to a lot of conversations. Some people were upset with the notion that Trump supporters vote for Kennedy in California. They thought that was going to hurt Trump. And I'm like, not with our electoral system. It's not going to hurt Trump at all. So this is a learning experience for everybody.
Yes. Well, the reason that they'll get upset here is they do it in New York too. When you have a deep blue or deep red state, the opposite party still needs to raise money, right? But they're going to lose. So what do? They lie. Or they say they lie in one of two ways. They either do this. In New York, they go, this is the year. This is the year Republicans are going to win. So Republicans will give the party money. Republicans are not going to win. New York State no one has won a statewide election in New York State. Nothing, not AG, not senator, not governor, nothing, not president in 22 years. And the state's just getting bluer. All the red people are leaving. So that's not going to happen. It is never going to happen. It's a standard, but they'll say that. Or they'll do another thing. Like in Indiana, they'll say, oh, but you got to vote for, you got to vote for Harris. Why? You got to send the Republicans a message. As if they'll say that. I'm not joking. So the red state, they'll tell the blue guys that you got to vote Democrat anyway. They'll do that. It's useless. It's a throwaway vote. You are correct. If you live in a deep blue or deep red state, why would you vote for Harris or Trump? You know who's going to win. These states are 3-1 or 4-1. You know who's going to win. Vote for the independent party. Vote for an independent party. I completely agree. I'm sorry, I'm yapping away. I do have to grab some more comments coming up here. Let me grab a couple more comments. I'm falling behind horribly. Let's sorry.
Read those comments.
Longitarian says, 199, thank you. I think the populace is being played like a fiddle. Yes, and let me go one more step, another one. 999, thank you again. Humans have voluntary interactions daily. Eliminate greed and the monetary exchange. Allow your production to society to be a measure of your worth/wealth. Be kind, wise, and have the skill set that assures personal security. I'll touch both of those things. both of those things, lunatic libertarian, what they do is that puts the onus on the individual to be, I guess, enlightened or to care about politics, to be thinking about these things. And while I think you are correct, we should be that way, I think the vast majority of Americans are just trying to survive every day.
Yep.
They're just trying to live their life, pay their bills, and they're not going there. And it's really hard to get someone to vote against their best interest, right? I didn't say best interest, sorry. Vote against their pocketbook, right? If the government right now is giving me a job, do I really want to vote against the government, right? I mean, I probably should. I think he's correct. I probably should. But then I got to cut the budget and I don't get my raise. Maybe I'm going to vote for the government. So I don't know. Am I off on this, guys?
I mean, I think a lot of people are just at surface level and they're just looking at it, even if they don't like Trump.
Yeah.
They're just like, life was easier under Trump. And then they, on the flip side, you know, Harris supporters are just like, I don't want the government to tell me what to do with my body. And that's pretty much how it is. And they see Project 2025 as the Handmaid's Tale. So it's very surface level. And it's just, that's where a lot of people live and die. And we need in-person conversations are the best way to open up and actually be able to get into that. Like, did you know Trump spent or added $8 trillion to our national debt? And that's why we have so much inflation, you know, not saying.
Or just the barbershop, literally what Isaiah was saying, just the barbershop that, you know, were you better off at this or that? What policy helped you? What policy didn't help you? Right? What do you care about X, Y, and Z? I think even something as simple as that even.
But I don't even think we're getting to policy though. Like, because it's not, if you actually look at the policies, like Trump was a big spender. So was Biden.
True.
So that's
Agreed.
why we have all this inflation.
Yep.
But so we're not getting to policy though. People don't understand the 25,000 down payment assistance that Kamala is trying to spin right now that she's going to give to first time home buyers, whatever. Like, yeah, it sounds great in the moment. Yeah, she's really going to help people out. Okay, well, that's going to cause inflation. Your house prices are just going to increase 25,000. That's all.
She'll just give 50, Anna. Okay, come on. She'll just give 50.
So we're not even getting to policies. We're not getting to like the actual, like, what is this policy actually going to do? How does it actually affect us? We're just in the moment thinking, okay, under President Trump, life was cheaper. Okay. But what I learned in school a long time ago as a little baby child is that usually you don't figure out or you don't feel the effects of policies until the next term, usually, or even the term after that.
Well, this goes back to what Lunatic's saying. He expects us to be thinking that way.
Yeah.
And I think the school doesn't teach us that.
Mm-hmm.
The schools you don't learn that in school.
Yeah.
The society is like immediate gratification, right? Let me swipe left, swipe right. I want immediate gratification. I think it's a lot of that. I don't know if this is a cultural issue that we can fix in one generation. I don't know if we can or can't. I think it's a tough spot.
I think it's an educational issue, not necessarily cultural. I think it's educational. Like I always say, like we want to defend our rights, but if we don't know our rights, then how do we defend them? So like in school, I did not learn about the Constitution. I learned generally about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We never read it. So it's like, how do you know your rights if you don't even go through them and stuff?
That's why you have the government to just decide which rights you get. That's good. They're done.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Or learn about the permanent bureaucracy that Eisenhower warned us all about, and Peter Dale Scott brought all these things up. But I think they're going to kick me out of the Burger King, so I'm going to say my apologies. I mean, say my goodbyes. But the last thing I'm kind of curious before they really do kick me out. I think RFK, I'm curious what Anna thinks. Is I think he dropped out, kind of touching on what we all said, because he realized the stakes of this election are very high. And is this almost, and kind of I'm curious what you have to say, Larry, too. Is this a strategy for independent candidates going forward to at least you run? You might not you're not going to get in, but at least you can now move your platform forward to the person like Trump or the person, whoever that has the best chance of getting in. Because now RFK's
I hope not. My view is I hope not, because I don't want us to use independent parties to just push an issue and drop out, because the problem is that that doesn't teach the two parties a lesson. And I want to teach them a lesson. I want them to change. I want them to be actual pain. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. I don't know, Anne, do you agree or no?
At first I thought that this was like the end of the independent movement. I had a really awful like 48 hours around the announcement, and even just leading up to it, knowing that that was a possibility. Even I was like, this is going to be the end. Like people
Right.
are always going to say, if a Kennedy can't even do it, then who can?
Yep.
And so that really hurt. Even just thinking about that. But the more and more I'm seeing, like people are really loving Kennedy on the Republican side, So it's like, like I said earlier, I really think people are opening up to his ideas and like thinking outside the box now. Like, oh, maybe we don't need these party labels so much. So it's not about the party; it's about the person, the policies, So in one way, I was like, this is the end, but then the other way, I'm like, okay, make change from the inside out. Like,
Yeah, I'll take what I can get.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that one. But before we let Isaiah go, please, you guys can check him out on Medium. If you want to check him out there, he is at McCall Isaiah on Medium. You can also check him out at Afro Reporter on X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Please check him out. Thank you for coming, Isaiah. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. And thanks. There's a lot of catharsis conversations like this. I hope other people who are listening find that too. So I'll catch you guys around. I love this, and take care.
Thanks.
Have a good one. So I'm going to grab another super chat if I could. Ryan says, Orange Man Bad was the official theme for the 2024 DNC. I would argue maybe 2020 also. Yes. Just like Bill Clinton Bad was the official theme of 1992 RNC. Agreed. I think you're totally right. And I think that, but Clinton had a lot of, he had a lot of charisma. Clinton did. So, but yeah, I think that's true. Orange Man Bad still works.
Well, I mean, and they also every speaker, I only watched like part of the last day. But because I was on vacation, all this stuff had to happen when I was on vacation. So I didn't really get a vacation.
They knew you weren't around. That's what they knew you weren't around.
Okay. So yeah.
Oh, I'll pop back out. Oh,
yeah. Sorry, I was like, wow, we're going to look at my pores. Okay.
Yes. No. So good. I'm just a good looking man. I want to get a quick peek. That's all. I'm done. I don't, quick peek. That's it.
So yeah, I saw my governor Gretchen Whitmer go up there and several other people, and they all had like the same framework of their speech. It was like, I came from nothing, and I had to go through this, I had to go through that, and now I'm here, and now I'm going to work for you. Like, I know what it's like to be you. And then they start going off about Trump and how he's awful.
Yeah. Yes.
So literally everyone had the same exact framework.
Absolutely. All right, let me grab some more questions if I could. Thomas says, check out Shalane Etchingson running for Congress as independent. I know Shalane. I met her here in Manhattan. She's a wonderful person. I met her here with her hubby. She's great. And yes, if you can check her out, she's doing a wonderful job down there. Absolutely. Do you happen to know her, Anna?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there are independents running all around. She is great. Scott asked a question, how do you get a runoff election if electorates in each state are bound to their party candidate? Well, let me explain this piece, Scott, that I think what you mean is the contingent election. When it comes to contingent election, how do we get a contingent election? We get that because, hey, good to see you.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know what happened. This is very weird. I'm going to have to talk to my guy, but my internet just went down and all my screens went black. And so I had to check all over my house. Now, look.
It's the CIA.
Yeah, to Rufus and Dave, who's part of the CIA, to my handlers. I'm trying to make, do my job here.
Oh my
God. All right, say hello to your wives for me.
You have two. I only have one. I have Scott. Scott, okay, let Kit stay on, Scott, okay? I'm doing a show here, Scott. Stop. Scott's my guy. So, yes. Anna, do you have an agent yet against you?
I don't like to get there. I don't like to go.
Probably do. I only have one. Kit's got two. So yes, he's more dangerous than I am right now. That's why I got two on him.
And I got NSA and FBI handlers too. Why not?
Yes.
My God. I'm very sorry about that.
Question, though. No, don't worry. I'm glad you're back. When it comes to contingent election, this is how it works. Two things to remember. They're two separate things. First, when it comes to electors are only bound in certain states by individual state law. Not every state has a law that bounds their electors. Most states don't. So an elector is supposed to vote for the person. If you don't realize this, who selects electors? The parties select the electors, right? And or the actual candidate. Here's the odd part. In America, You actually, in every other place, you vote for the person. In the case of the president, you do not vote for the president. You vote for the electors. Mm-hmm. That's why the electors are listed on the ballot. You're actually not voting for the president. You are officially voting for the electors. Those electors may, if they want to, vote for somebody else. They can, unless they are bound by state law to vote for that person.
Which it's crazy. It's crazy that every state is different too. Like, to me, a lot of these laws should be at the federal level. Like, we should,
if it's a federal election, yeah.
I even think primaries, honestly, I mean, maybe people can disagree with me, but I think, voting a day should be one day, should be a national holiday. Even primaries, we all know when it is. I would even be for having elections Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with one of them being a national holiday. But yeah, all of these little laws, even how many signatures you need to get as an independent, whatever, I think all of that should be at the federal level. It shouldn't be different per state. It's just crazy.
So actually, Lars Mapstead, when he was running for the presidential spot at the Libertarian Party, actually came up with the idea of a voter bill of rights, and he covered all of that. If anyone cares, you can go over to lars24.com, check out his unrigged elections. He actually has a voter bill of rights, which covers all of those things.
Nice.
But now let me go to the second piece, which is the contingent election. In the case of the contingent election, Scott, electors become irrelevant. If the electors cannot get 270 votes for one person, the Congress decides the electors are removed from the equation. They are no longer valid. The congressional group that comes to the Congress, the entire group gets one vote per state. So Wyoming is as powerful as California. If you have 52 people there or one person there, you get one vote. That's it.
Larry,
That's how
have
that
you
works.
looked into this, how currently that would shake out? I don't know if you want to disclose
Could you elaborate?
Yes, because what happens is at that point, you now need to get 26 votes because you must get the majority, 50 states. DC does not vote, and neither does Puerto Rico, nothing. Only states vote in this case. So right now, if you look at it, there's no way Harris wins 26 states. So if it is a contingent election, Harris will lose. They must pick from the top three.
But it would be the new Congress too, though, right?
This is done in January. This is not done in November. It's done in January when they seat the new Congress. So the new Congress gets seated. They have to pick one vote per state. You must get 26 states. Now, here's the issue. It will not be Harris if that happens, and he must pick from the top three. That is why RFK Jr. is keeping himself on the ballot. He will be the number three. He'll be the third number of vote getters. Right? Yeah. So he'll be three. So when that happens, it'll be between Harris, Trump, and Kennedy. Harris will not have 26 states. Trump might, depending on how it falls, because there are more red states than blue states. The blue states don't have more electoral votes, so electoral college is what will make Trump often win. In this case, if he has 26 states, he wins. If he doesn't, he has 24 or 25, and Harris has 23, and Bobby wins one or two states. Well, now it's who's going to win. You have to have horse trade. And that will happen over the course of 2 months. From November to January, they'll start horse trading. Now, who can horse trade? Harris can't. She can't take any Republicans in ever. Trump would horse trade. He would take a couple Democrats in to get a Democratic state to swap. But Kennedy would too. Kennedy would be like, okay, I'll take 4 Republicans, 3 Democrats from different states to get the states to swap and horse trade to get the votes. So
and hasn't this happened like 2 or 3 times before in our history?
In 1800, 1825, it was Thomas Jefferson won this way, and John Quincy Adams won this way.
So it's not like a lot of people think it's like big and scary. Like, yes, it hasn't happened in recent times, but it has happened,
Yes. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question, Scott, that when it comes to the contingent election, electors do not matter at all. They are removed from the equation completely. Electors are not bound by the Constitution. They're not bound to vote for the person you tell them to, but some are bound by their state laws, not bound by the Constitution.
Wasn't there like this whole point during the in 2016 where people were hoping that Democrats would support Hillary Clinton, even though it was abundantly clear that she lost against Donald Trump? Does anyone remember that?
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
I remember that. Yes,
yeah,
SNL actually did a skit about that. Remember they did those.
It's called the Rogue Elector. Where
Okay,
the electors would say, I know my state voted for Trump, but Orange Man is clearly so bad that I have to not vote for him and I have to vote for Hillary anyway. That was the hope. That doesn't, no, that does. I mean, that could happen to be forward. Is it physically possible? Yes. Is it going to happen? I don't think so at all, but it could in theory. So guys, if you like what we're talking about, if there's questions that are being answered, click the like button. It does matter. Please do so. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, please retweet this right now. It does matter. Or if you share it, if you're on Facebook, you can always subscribe if you want to the YouTube. It does matter. But no matter what, please follow these wonderful people who have given us so much of their time. Please follow Kit on Hard Lens Media. He does a show out of Chi-Town all the time. So is it every day at 10 a.m. Eastern? Is that right?
Yes, 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, of course, and always live on YouTube, Rumble, Rockfin, Odyssey, and Kick. And we have a TV show on Can TV as well, Channel 21. And from what I've heard, me and Daniel are proud to say that it is the #1 evening show there. So we're taking over the airways, at least public television. So there you go. And yes, we did survive the DNC convention. Perhaps I'll tell you guys a little bit more about it. But I mean, at the end of the day, just really glad to be part of this great collaboration. Again, sorry for whatever happened to my system here, but there are moments when the lights go out in your house, that's when you got to start booting up and suiting up. So there you go. It's kind of like, okay, is this it?
I love doing live shows because that kind of stuff happens all the time. It makes it more exciting. You know what's going to happen. I love it. Also, if you want to follow, I know Isaiah took off, but if you want to follow him, please follow him on X at Afro Reporter, if you would. And Anna, please follow her at Anna R. Matson. Anna, tell us, what are you doing? Kit gave us his. Tell us what you're doing.
I don't know.
Follow her on X and figure it all out together. I love it. Let's do it.
This week I am going to go through Kamala Harris's policies. What she does have out, I'm learning myself, nothing's on her website. So I'm watching her speeches and stuff and seeing what she says. So I'm going to go through her policies and actually talk about the real implications of everything. And I'm going to get into Trump too. Some people were like, no, why would you do that? Wait till after the election. No, I'm going to criticize him now. Especially about small businesses is something that both candidates have really dropped the ball about. And so I'm going to criticize both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump about it. And
you have some fans here, Anna. Mm-hmm. You definitely do. I mean, Sarah just says, so happy to see Anna on here. I know these new developments has been a challenge for her.
Yeah. Just actually followed you right now also on X. So well done. Really excited. But Anna, I have to correct you. You're saying that there's nothing on Kamala's website for policies, but I'm seeing her T-shirts. Yes, she can. When we fight, we win. You know what I'm real sad about? That there's no more LGBTQ plus stickers of Kamala Harris in different colored pantsuits.
Oh man!
I mean that counts as policy, doesn't it?
Yeah. To some people,
There you go. It does. Sassy says we don't fit into a box. Yes, who cares about the labels? It just divides us. Yeah. And I would add to this, Sassy. I think the point behind this is that's the goal. If we can put you in a box, we can not only divide you, but we can also dismiss you, right? I can go, oh, I can't talk to Anna. She's a insert thing here. I used the one word. Now I can the Kit. He's a this thing. And then I don't talk to him anymore. And it dismisses him. So divide, I would also add dismiss.
You're right. And look, here's the thing. I just got to get this off my chest. I could have my opinions, different opinions with Larry, but at the same time too, I also going to be an adult and look beyond politics and be like, okay, I have a differing of opinions with people. I'd rather live in a world where I'm told to challenge and think critically than to be in this one thing where we have to think like this, because heaven forbid, if you step out of line, then you're excommunicated. That's not a world I want to live in. That's not a system you want to live in. I'd rather be challenged and be like, hey, did you see this perspective? And I'm not for the fan of, debate me and I'm going to own you. No, if I could not change your mind, but maybe have you look at something at a different perspective and be like, okay, I didn't see that way before. Yep. Let me do some more research on that. Yep. Then fine. I've had to change my opinions on a few things or use that be critically challenged, but I've done that for other people as well. You just can't be loyal to a party because I've lost friends I've lost people that I love because of
Yep.
politics, and it's not because I want to be proven correct. It's just like, people, life is short. You don't need to lose people because of some jagoff in DC.
Really, Kennedy talked about this on Tucker Carlson today. I didn't watch the whole thing. I got like halfway through it, but he talked about it's like our human natural desire to find a tribe, and people are finding a tribe in political parties. And that is the one place we should not be tribal. Okay. Like, we need to stop that. Our government, think of it as business, but people are finding family. They're finding religion in politics. And it's so dangerous. So people will die on their hill. Like, this is my man's, or this is my girl's, and they can't do no harm. Like, they're my family. I'm going to protect them at all costs. That does not belong in our political system. And I don't like, going back to like the two parties, we are supposed to be the melting pot. We are such a diverse nation. Do you really think we can be summed up in two political parties? I think that's just ridiculous.
And the founders never wanted this. The founders never wanted this. The founders never wanted this.
It's not in our Constitution.
It's not. He says tribalism is attractive. He's right. And I've said this before. One of the reasons why the parties work so poorly in our country is, to your exact point, Kit. They're not in the Constitution. They weren't trying to do this, right? The founding fathers weren't like, okay, we'll make this system and we'll make these political parties. They didn't do that. We'll make this system and people will just come together.
And that people said, whole thing. People say all the time, this is the system. It's two parties. That's it. Where is that the system? It's not written anywhere. We created it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And 100%. Look, I mean, I've mentioned this story before, and me and this person, we eventually made up. But when Trump got elected into office, I was one of the few people in my inner circle of friends saying, "Hey, Trump could win this," and I was trying to again make this point. And just before Trump got elected, they sent me this article of the rise of the Ku Klux Klan again, and they wrote underneath that you're helping create this, and I was like, wow. How dare you? You're associating me with the KKK just because I said Trump could beat Hillary Clinton. And the thing is, look, because I'm a loving guy, I could forgive people, but this political division, this vitriol, this poison.
All in for petty revenge. Wasn't that also you, Kit?
Yeah, I know. Hey, listen. I'm a human onion. I have many layers to me, my friends.
Like that. Nicely done.
I have many layers, and it all depends on how I feel about a person. Because if I love you, then I love you. But if I hate you, right here, man. So there you go.
Gotcha. All right. I got it. But I want to touch your point, though. Right? A lot of Democrats, particularly those who are more establishment, or I'll go even wealthier, more privileged Democrats. I'll go there. I use a word that the left tends to like to use. Privileged. I use that word. Democrats, the left is definitely Democrats too. So privileged. I use that word. Privileged will say things like, "Oh my God, I can't believe that Bobby Kennedy would do this. I can't believe that would happen." But it's a self-inflicted wound, right? He tried to run in the Democratic Party. They wouldn't let him. He tried to run as an independent. They wouldn't let him. He tried to talk to them. They wouldn't talk. He tried to get him out legally. They threw him off. It's the Joe Rogan effect. Joe Rogan was not a right-leaning guy. I know. When I was on his show, I literally called him a Democrat to his face. He's not a right-leaning guy. But he wouldn't play the Democratic Party game. They attacked him horribly. He's like, okay, I guess I'm with Trump now, I guess. I mean, you get pushed over into the other side. This is a self-inflicted wound. If the Democrats are so worried about the fascists, they're making them.
Yep.
They're making them. They're making people not want them. It's Bill Maher said this perfectly. Bill Maher has a lot of issues, but I tell you, sometimes he's on the money. And this time he was talking to some of his people on his panel one day. I forgot when, a couple years back. And they're the same privileged, Democrats going, "Oh, I don't know why these dumb, country people vote for Trump. They're voting against their interests, blah, blah, blah." And he said, "Don't you know why?" They said, "What?" He said, "Because they hate you. That's the reason. They vote against you because they hate you. And they hate you because you hate them."
So, So, Larry, our good friend Roger Meadows wants me to share this link with you that has to deal with, again, states. Oops, hold on. Sorry. So I'm
I'm
trying
gonna
to
guess
share the chat.
it's ballot initiatives.
Yes, it is. So hold on.
Of course it is.
So
Yes,
so here's the link. It has to deal with states that pass laws to join national popular vote, interstate compact. Total 209 electoral college votes. Once they get more states, 61 equals 270 ECV. Then electors give ECVs to who wins the national popular vote, not state popular vote. So I sent the link. I posted it in the chat, so I think you'll be able to see it. So check it out.
I don't have it in the chat. I don't have it. It's not here in the chat.
You don't see it on the Larry Sharpe, your YouTube page, or is it the other?
No, just
YouTube?
do it. Do it in our private chat right here. Go to
yeah, hang on, right here. There you go. Boom.
Yeah, for those watching, we're cooler than you. We have a private chat.
Oh, okay.
So yes,
I didn't even see.
Yes.
I haven't even clicked on the live comments. So
there
now
you
I'll
go.
comments
are all which is why I'm trying to grab comments. We are way behind on comments.
Yes.
So
okay. So I sent it on private chat. So Roger, I got your back, man. I sent it to Larry Sharpe. So Larry, you should check it out, man.
This is going to be so distracting because I like to get into it with people in the comments.
You like to fight people. You like
here we go. This we go on. For you, Roger, I'm showing this. It's called nationalpopularvote.com. There it is right there. For those of you who are concerned, check that out right now. This is what Roger was talking about. There we go. All righty. Roger, I hope you're happy. I'm being good to you. Kit, are we good?
No, we're good. Hey, Roger's from NYC. So look, if Chicago's got to represent,
actually, he's from Nassau County. He's from right outside of NYC.
Hey, look, no matter what, Chicago's always got to represent. So there you go. Chicago's got to correct. So there you go.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Yes. I got to grab a couple more super chats if I could. Into Defense being good, $10. Thank you, my friend. I'm trying my best to keep rock and rolling. I do appreciate that. And Roger himself, $2. Oh, so you ready to get rid of parties now, Larry? Kit DM. Yes. That's yes. Look, I've been telling you I'm not happy with the idea that the parties run the elections. I'm not against people having parties. If you want to gather together for some reason, go ahead. But why do you control the ballot? Why do you control primaries? Why does your party name have to be on the ballot? There's no need for a party name to be on the ballot. There's no need to even print ballots.
Yep.
There's no need for that. So if you take the party stuff off of everything official,
and this is
I'm
crazy.
Happy to have parties.
So my local, what I'm running for is a nonpartisan office. And it's great because people are like, are you Republican or Democrat? I'm like, there's no labels. You just have to hear my policies. You just have to hear what I'm going to do. It's a beautiful thing. So it actually does happen in some places, guys. It's not like it doesn't ever happen. It's just usually at the local level.
Absolutely. Nancy popped up that super sticker. Thank you so much, Nancy. I appreciate it. Every little bit does count. Ryan says, independents need to raise money and buy the poll. I bring this up often, and Ryan, I'm glad you brought this up. Ryan's also a member, so thank you, Ryan. The issue here people don't get, I know people don't like when I say it, but I try to be very forward about it. Money in our current system matters tremendously. And people didn't know this before Bobby Kennedy. How do you get in a poll? We're not keeping Bobby in the poll. Here's how you get in the poll. You buy the poll. You have to raise the money and buy the poll. If you buy the poll, you're in the poll. Most people think, well, these colleges just do the poll every so-and-so. They're not nonprofits. They're not charities. You got to pay for the poll. So if you're paying for the poll,
I want to create my own. This is what I went to school for, is actual market research. And so it's funny because someone was like, can you explain how polls work? And I was like, man, I really need to do that because when you learn something a lot, you just kind of assume everyone knows about it. Right. And I'm like, maybe I should teach people about this stuff. So I'll do that too this week. But and it kills me because almost none of these polls are accurate. I've seen maybe one or two that I would say this is a pretty accurate poll, this whole election cycle for president, because what they're doing, they always say, do you want Trump or Harris? Okay, well, that's not realistic unless in New York. Okay, there's going to be two people on the ballot. A real poll is going to have every candidate listed as they're listed on your ballot under what party they're going to be listed under. That would be the most accurate poll. But that's not being done.
When you hear, sometimes they'll say internal polling, right? Why is there such a thing as internal polling? Because of exactly what you said.
Technically,
you see is all polling for marketing. Internal polling is actually made so they have real data. They don't release the internal polling.
So technically, all polling should be internal. All of it should be. Polling was never designed to sway people's votes.
Correct.
It was not for that. Polling at whatever level you do it. I wanted to do it for like corporations, like consumer behavior, stuff like that. You don't do your polls, your market research, and then tell your customers about it. You just don't do that. Like you're finding out, okay, if I put this product here, do people buy it more? Stuff like that, whatever have you. You use that information to change your internal behavior, like your internal policy, whatever it is. Because you're like, hey, I'm lacking in this area, so I should change this. That's what polls are for. They were never meant to sway people's votes. And I don't know how much I can say that because it is so important. Like,
but the point is, it's not anymore, though. Right now, with issues. Look, I know I've done it myself, right? I've run fraud, done it myself. You want to have a poll that makes you look good. And you do things like, as an example, I'll give you an example, one thing. You'll decide, to your point, Anna, when you put the person in, what time you put them out there, when do you ask them the question? Do you ask an important question first and do a push poll first, right? Do I say, Kit and Anna are running against each other? All right. Did you know that
Vote Kit?
I'm sorry?
Vote for Kit, by the way. There you go.
I poll now because Anna buys the poll from me. I do the polling. And question number one is, did you know that Kit wants to punch you in the face?
Yeah, exactly. I'm running on that as a policy.
Yes.
Yep.
Then they say, who would you rather vote for, Kit or Anna? Well, Kit wants to buzz me in the face. I guess I'll vote for Anna. That's how that works.
Exactly. That is exactly what they're doing.
And there's so many people that's going to get punched in the face if you don't vote for me.
And so
absolutely. Yes.
And this is the thing. What is actually supposed to sway our vote? It's supposed to be debates. It's supposed to be interviews. It's supposed to be not reputation, but like, what you've done in the past and stuff.
Yes.
Your resume. That's the stuff. Sure. And none of that is happening. None of that is actually being looked at. We're not having a free and fair election right now. The media has completely abandoned its responsibility. It's in the First Amendment that we have freedom of the press for a reason, because it was so important. It did hold our government accountable. And now they've completely abandoned their responsibility. So it's like, why is that even in the First Amendment if they don't even take it seriously? I think it should be in the First Amendment. I'm not saying, don't take it the wrong way, but
let me grab a couple more comments. I'm like literally hundreds behind on comments. I'll see if I can grab some if I can. Connor says, do you think this route was the best way for him, I'm assuming RFK Jr., to hedge his bets and make impact? Or should he have waited? How much do we trust Trump in the future? I don't think he had a chance on waiting. If he was going to make the deal, Trump wanted it now. Kit brought it up. The timing was perfect. If he was going to make the deal, this was the time. There was no waiting. It was do it now or don't do it. Yeah. And when it comes to Trump in the future, trusting him, I think our way of doing that, our insurance policy, is getting a third party. That's our insurance policy. If we get the 5%, there's a chance that we, the people party, will actually move forward and do well. That if he screws Kennedy over, Kennedy can support candidates in 2026 to run against Republicans, and even run himself again in 2028 and stop Republicans. There's the only way you get insurance is by having a third party. That's my view.
And Trump's ego honestly plays into this a little bit with trust, because now the whole world knows that he picked, he's bringing RFK Jr. in. So if he backs out, in a perfect world, we're all going to keep him accountable to that, and we're going to completely shatter him, and he's going to be like, oh, whoa, my following doesn't like that, so maybe I should keep my word. That's really what we should be doing as citizens and the press. Like I was saying, like, this is everything we're supposed to be doing, keeping our government accountable and everything. So if we can keep Trump accountable, then I think we'll be okay. Honestly, every day, like I said, every hour, I'm warming up to things more and more.
I would say,
what's going on?
Well,
Tell me.
Okay, when we look at the timing, it was as perfect as it could get. I mean, he denied Kamala the weekend, the Sunday morning shows. They would have easily capped. Can you imagine how boring the news weekend would have been? All about Kamala and all the joy and love. So you know what? I mean, it's either you crap or you get off the pot. So it was an opportunity. Now, as for Trump, I view him no differently than any other Republican or Democrat president. If he does follow through with his promise by keeping RFK Jr. a part of his administration or giving him a high tier role, I will be surprised. But okay, you followed through on that one. He did that. He did this. So be it. Look, all what matters at the end of the day is voter turnout. That's the key thing, because Trump could say a good game, and look, Kamala could say a good game. But whoever pulls out the most voters to win the most key electoral votes, then that's who's going to become president. But don't worry, Goldman Sachs and Wall Street's going to be at the table, and you won't.
That's very good.
Someone. Oh, go ahead.
Sarah says yes. Why can't RFK Jr. sue that DNC?
M-O-N-E-Y. M-O-N-E-Y. M-O-N-E-Y.
He is, but it costs more money. Sarah, they know that. Sarah, you're correct. Could he do it? Yes, and he has. But Kit's right. How much money are you going to spend on lawsuits? How much time are you going to spend on lawsuits that now you're not spending campaigning? You're not spending on your campaign, and you're trying to get donors to raise money. Now, I'm a donor and I want to give money. Great. Am I going to give it to a lawsuit, or do I want to give it to you going out? So, yes, you are correct. But Kit's M-O-N-E-Y. Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that, like, just lawyers in general, like, I actually had to sue my town, and thankfully my lawyers didn't charge me a ton up front. They just, held on to the end because we knew that we were going to win our case. But it was like $15,000, and it's just like the average person, and that's just for me suing my little town on a Freedom of Information Act request.
I spent $400,000 trying to get on the ballot in New York State.
And so the thing is, even if Kennedy won every single lawsuit, you still have to pay for them. And it's a lot of time, a lot of money. And the average person, like, we need more people to go to school to become lawyers, because honestly,
please, no, we have enough. No. No more.
Or this is AI. We need AI to make it cheaper. How about that?
Let's make AI cheaper. Because
the average person should be able to sue someone if they need to. If someone breaks the law, they should be able to sue. And a lot of middle class, low income Americans don't have the resources to be able to sue. And it's a really big problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but then again, too, there is such a amount of corruption in our system. So when it comes down to legal battles, folks, it is a nightmare. And I do encourage everyone, look, just try and understand the law as best as you can. And remember, folks, as much as we would like to see RFK Jr. or any third party candidate take to task the Republican Party or Democrats, it costs money. Lots of it. Lawyers ain't cheap.
Yep.
Okay.
100%. So I do. Did you want to touch a specific comment, Anna? You were looking at something, or can I keep going? Did you want to touch one?
Oh, someone made the comment. It's always my favorite one to debunk that his whole family is against him. And it's like, okay, 5 family members, first of all, endorsed Joe Biden. So they have, great, oh my gosh, what's the word? I'm losing the word, but judgment.
I'm going to go further on this.
Yeah,
I'm going to go further on this. This goes back to what I talked about.
Yeah.
These guys are all working for Biden or the Democratic Party.
Yep.
So, of course, they're going to endorse the guy who's feeding them. I get that. But my problem is not that. I get it. If the Biden family's feeding you and you want to support them, understand completely. But why do you got to take a dump on your brother? Right? That's my issue. You can just say nothing. Just say, I support Biden because I think he's great, whatever. And then they ask you, what's your brother? Well, he's his own person and good luck. Just shut up. Just say nothing. The fact that they actually that shows more about how crappy they are than how bad RFK Jr.
And there are 105 Kennedys, close Kennedys. And five of them.
Man, they're all over the place. Jeez, so much for the Kennedy curse. I guess it doesn't matter. All right, fine.
So 5 of them endorsed Joe Biden. Okay, good luck to them. How's that going? And if you actually look into these people, because I've looked into them, I'm not gonna judge them for people. Just look into them. Them. Go to I don't know how to pronounce it, the last name, the one with the @Schlossenberg or something. Whatever, the one family member. Go to his Instagram. For literally 60 seconds and look at it and be like, should I really trust this person, what he has to say? Because he's like 35 or maybe 30 or something, and he's just riding through life right now. He is just saying,
chilling, why would you look when a guy kills somebody, his mom still supports him, right? And
well,
the
not
mom to
really.
still support
Maybe.
him, right?
Yeah,
And go,
yeah.
I love my son. Oh, he must have done it for some other reason or whatever. And you're not mad at the mom. It's her son. She's gonna support your son even if they're a murderer. You're gonna expect. You're not mad at them, but you expect it. Well, now it's your brother. You don't have to go, oh, my brother's correct. I love him. I vote for him. You don't have to. I mean, you probably should, but you don't have to. But at least say nothing. The fact that they would throw their brother under the bus publicly.
And what family, agrees on politics? I mean,
no.
I'm straight independent. I'm not going to pick a side. I'm going to look at every person, look at their policies, and make a decision. My husband's Republican. I have a brother that is so liberal he cannot stand when I talk to him. It's great, you know. and then I have a brother that's never voted before, and he's older than I am, and I get into it with him just because of that. It's not even anything deeper than that. It's just, how could you not vote? Like, so we're all different, and that's okay.
You know? Yes. No, the other piece I guess here is why does it matter what his family thinks? So even if they don't like him,
it's the Kennedys. Look, this is the closest thing to royalty we have here in America. Say for the other dynastic families like the Bushes or the Clintons or whatever. Yeah. You know, when you think of political families, you know, the Kennedys are it. The Kennedys are it. And you know what? Just a little off tangent here. In 2018, we had our governor's race here in Illinois. And one of the Kennedys was running for governor of Illinois.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. But I got to tell you, and I wish I was there, and I would have paid money to see Daniel's reaction for this. But it wasn't Chris Kennedy, but it was another Kennedy that went up there to promote his brother who was running for Illinois governor. And he ran up there super fast. Like, I don't know if he was on something or not, but it was the craziest hype speech ever. Maybe he was too energetic. Who am I to say? But it was pure gold. And I'm doing everything I can to find it on my Facebook page because it was absolutely beautiful. And I would have paid money. I would have paid some money to see that happen. Anyways.
Roy says the biggest problem for Trump is he favors loyalty over competence. So he's less likely to get affected professionals. You know,
that's his problem. That's his problem. Yeah, he does have that problem.
I agree with Roy here, and I think it's not just Trump though. I think you find a lot of people when they get into politics, they're so scared of being backstabbed because of the damage somebody can do that they look for loyalty over competence. I think Trump is an extreme. I think, Roy, you're correct on this, but I understand that, right? I mean, when I ran in 2022 and I began to fall apart, the amount of people who stabbed me in the back was insane. And it made me also worry more about loyalty, I think. So I get that concept. Like, I'd rather have someone who doesn't want to stab me and then it will fix things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this is the right thing to do.
There's
I'm just
snakes
saying I
everywhere.
understand it.
There are snakes everywhere. And I encourage everyone to read not only Sun Tzu, The Art of War, but The Prince as well, because you learn, by Machiavelli, because, you know, he mentioned that, and again, I'm going to butcher the quote, but he does mention, like, yes, the prince should surround himself with loyal people, but people to also challenge him critically because they are loyal to him. Be like, hey, is this a good idea to do this war? Right. Or this kind of thing, or maybe, hey, you should watch out for this. You need to have people who will challenge you critically, but also fight for you. And see, the thing is, Trump, he likes to be surrounded by yes men. And that's, again, the first problem with his administration. He surrounded himself with Bush Cheney people who assumed that he would be a puppet and be Bush Jr. when he was not, which is why there were so many leaks in his White House, because they're like, oh, well, this guy's just not playing ball. And the kiss of death for Trump was when he was interviewed about why we're in Syria. And he didn't say for freedom. He didn't say for liberty or preserving democracy. We're there for the oil.
Yep,
that's it.
I remember.
And everyone in the establishment collectively crapped their pants. Like, he gave away the sauce.
He can't say that. What's he saying? He's crazy. Exactly right. So,
but honestly, I'll probably get a lot of shit for this, but I give the same criticism to the Kennedy campaign. It's understandable. Like, they kept people that are super loyal and everything, people that they can trust, but not necessarily people that are best for the job. And again, it's understandable because we know that the DNC was on full attack with them and infiltrated them. I mean, Nicole said that they were infiltrated and stuff, and you know, but so I mean, I guess it's not just Trump, you know.
Yes, exactly. It is. I think Trump is extreme. I think he's right. There is he's extreme at that level, but I do think, yes. Ryan, thanks for the $5. Appreciate it. Also a member. He says, Joe Kennedy III lost his U.S. Senate primary in Massachusetts. I remember that too. And that actually surprised me, Ryan. I assumed, and I don't know Massachusetts politics very well at all. I know New York politics. I don't know Massachusetts, but I assumed, if a Kennedy is running in Massachusetts, well, he wins. That
he
was
works.
my assumption.
He works for the Biden administration right now, and he.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so he works for the Biden administration as like the special envoy for Northern Ireland. So I did like a whole article on this because the reason why all these Kennedys were at the White House on St. Patrick's Day is because some Ireland something came to the White House that day. And so he was working and his family was there. So he literally was working that day. And people were saying it was an endorsement for Joe Biden. It wasn't, because that would have broke the Hatch Act, because a federal official cannot use their position to endorse candidates and stuff. So so that's one of the 5 Kennedys that endorsed Joe Biden, So it's like, okay, guys, he works for the White House. Like, what do you expect? It would go against his boss.
Right. Absolutely. Mike Voss is watching. He does his No Sound Bites Allowed podcast. He says, Anna, exactly. Every party has a project, whatever, to install their ideology as a transition from prior ideology. The hype is just more attacks on Orange Man Bad.
And I'm glad that you brought that up, because like I wanted to say, I am not endorsing Project 2025 by any means. I'm just saying, like, it's not the big boogeyman that a lot of people have made it out to be, like it's just something that they do all the time. I think they've done it. Like I said, I think like 30, maybe 40 years they've done it or something. Every 4 years, if there's going to be a transition in the administration, because there's like 10,000 employees that get transitioned over. So they pushed it so heavy this year because they thought that Trump failed last time. Because like we talked about, he didn't know anybody and stuff. So the Republicans are pushing it so hard this year because they're like, okay, we're going to make sure that we have a plan in place.
But hold on now. Raza asked a question. I'm going to see what he says. What do you think about this? He says, what about BlackRock being the one that's pushing Project 2025 and the ties to Trump putting people in his administration in one way or another? What are our thoughts on that? And there is some, once you start having the BlackRocks of the world pushing, that does make us more concerned, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the same BlackRock that is also controlling all of our entertainment and media, Vanguard too. By the way, again, anything that has the blessing of BlackRock or Vanguard, please excommunicate it with all due haste, because all it is nothing but unentertaining garbage. So again, this is why we need to break apart monopolies, because the fact that BlackRock is everywhere, Vanguard too, and I think there's a third one. I forget which the third one was, but State Street. Thank you for that one. Yes. Yep.
Sad that we know that. We shouldn't know that, but we're like, yeah, State Street.
And this is another thing that like a lot of education can help, because like people think that like, Trump gets elected and Project 2025 is going to be instituted today. Okay, most of that stuff would have to go through Congress anyway.
It's not going to happen. Everyone's all worried about, we're going to lose our freedoms. We're going to lose this. We're going to lose that. We've already lost our freedoms. Citizens United sold our democracy, our constitutional republic.
Hey, watch that free speech.
Okay,
you need to.
I mean, what else? And people say, we lost. It's been lost, folks. We've already lost it. I mean, I've been censored 9 times. I've almost lost my channel 9 times. So anyone who says like, we need to be afraid, Trump is Hitler 2.0. No, he is not.
You use the H word. Now I'm demonetized. Damn you. All right. Yes. Anyway. So yes. Jennifer says, look at the Telegram CEO arrested. Exactly your point, Kit.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly your point. Jennifer's right there with you. I do see where Kennedy said this today on the Tucker interview. He said, we've already lost Europe. Mm-hmm. He said that. He said, we've already lost Europe, because he thinks we don't have freedom of speech there anymore.
Yeah, I was planning on moving to Italy, honestly, if this election. Can I swear on here? Because I've been like holding back. I don't know.
You can swear. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm quite the potty mouth. So my whole plan was to move to Italy.
Hold on, Anna. Kit and I are both Marines.
Yes,
we say a couple words.
I mean, what you're saying will be child's play because me and Larry have
Correct.
heard our fair share of jokes and conversations that are not
Correct.
safe on any platform. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go
So
ahead, please.
basically, if this election was going to be a shit show, we were going to be like, okay, let's go to Italy. That's where my family's from, you know? But then people told me they don't really have free speech. And I'm like,
No.
man, you
Yep.
know, but it's fine because I can just live on a farm and I don't need to speak to anyone.
Well, wait. You might not want, because listen, if there's one thing that The Godfather 2 taught me, and that is even in those rural areas, you know, if you don't fall in line, the warlords will get you.
That's right. Yes, you still got to watch out. Absolutely. So yeah, but no, I agree with you in that regard. Right. I was thinking of going if things don't go well in New York the next couple of years, I might go to New Hampshire. I might pack up. It's on the border. If I got to run to Canada, I mean, Canada's terrible, but if everything's going bad, you can run to Canada if you have to.
Why would you do that? Not there.
I'm just saying. Places. Yeah, I know it's bad, but anyway. But the other issue is it's near the water. I can get in a boat and run off there if I have to. And like when it comes to New Hampshire, like everybody owns a gun, so it's really hard to do anything there because like everybody owns a gun. So and I know a lot of libertarians there. So like my brothers are there, so it's fine. Maybe I'll go there. I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure, but it's not going to be Italy.
I'm not leaving. I dug my grave here in Chicago. I will stand either victorious or defeated. 4 generations deep. 4 generations deep here in the city. Joseph, Richard, Claudia, and good old Kit Kat. 4 generations representing. So only one way to end me, 6 feet under.
There we go. I like that. Instant Defense says Soylent Green, $5. I'm not sure why. What was Soylent Green for?
Soylent Green. You've seen the movie, right? Starring Charleston Heston, Soylent Green?
I have. Yep.
Yeah. Well, probably as a representative of that dystopian government.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Clear enough. Thank you for that, Kit. There we go.
Plus the food, which is very reminiscent now. I mean, after all, the United States has huge obesity. You know, when I was in Japan in 2020, before the whole world went crazy, again, the way the people there and the way the people here are in America is night and day. We have an obesity crisis here. There's something in the food. There's something in the water. Again, folks, let's just be careful out there. So there you go.
It's the sad diet, the standard American diet. It's just,
yes.
I learned all about this because my hormones were all wacky and everything. This is how I kind of found RFK Jr. But yeah, it's just as kids, you literally it's carbs on top of carbs on top of carbs with a side of carbs. That's the diet because it's waffles, it's mac and cheese, like that. That's the diet. It's Pop-Tarts, you know. And I am not a fan of diets at all. Like when people tell you to count calories and everything, all that, we don't need to get that complicated. It really comes down to a balanced diet. Like have a colorful plate. You need your greens. You need your veggies, your fruits. Like fruit is not bad. Sugar is okay as long as it's with the fiber.
See, you just walked into my trap. I've been keto for 14 years. So you do not see the only fruit I eat. The only fruit I eat is tomatoes.
Wow.
Hey, you know, hold on.
The only fruit that I eat.
Nectarines, peaches, strawberries. Nope. I grow some mean tomatoes. I actually got 2 of my tomatoes to come back to life. So for my audience that's watching this, you know, or some of my audience members here, my 2 of my tomatoes came back to life. Really love making some good tomatoes, eating real food, and I'm trying. And again, purging soda and fast food from my diet has been the best thing ever. I mean, I have some 100%. Guilty pleasures like wine or alcohol, like, you know, and I'll smoke some weed here and there. I mean, that's and coffee. And coffee, of course. So that is my downfall.
I cannot. I will not give up my coffee.
I can't give up on it either. That's
because you know what they say. The Dr. Amen is a huge brain doctor, and he says like caffeine will shrink your brain, and that he's like it's the only thing that size matters is your brain. And so you don't want it to shrink.
I'm not sure that's true. I'm just saying, I'm not sure.
but you know, Italy has. Number is the 6th highest with life expectancy. We're 47th here in the US. Yep. They drink coffee all day long in Italy. They drink wine all day long. I do not care if they're doing it and they're living.
To that. Fine. I can subscribe to that. Nothing better after doing all the work and just drinking some wine on your back porch or your front porch.
There
whatever.
We go. Absolutely. Also, Michelle Ann says something that's going to get us totally canceled.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to use euphemisms because I don't want to get in trouble. Dr. F, you know the one I was talking about, rhymes with Fauci made the bug.
We're done for.
Yes, I'm trying to hold on to this, Anna. Let me try to hold on.
We're done.
That same Dr. F helped fund the bug. How do you not see this? That doctor was bought and paid for. And the reason why I brought this one up is, this is the reason why I bring this up. He right now, this guy, this special doctor from the bug, he actually has Secret Service protection.
Yeah, I saw that today. I was like, "Are you serious, man?"
How does he get that? I mean,
thank you. The guy who did what Michelle just said. We are spending our taxpayer dollars to protect that man, but we won't protect.
It's me, Kennedy. Dr. F. I talk like this. Don't mind it, everybody. There's might be some consequences here and there, and my voice hurts now because I can't do that voice for too long.
You can't. No way. No way. Absolutely. Yes. So Ryan says, I'm also Marine. Go Larry and Kit. Semper
Fi,
right,
brother. Ryan.
Semper Fi, brother. Semper Fi.
Right.
Absolutely. That's great. So yeah, that does drive me crazy that they get it and other people don't.
Well, that's why I wish Kennedy didn't say suspend at all. I just wish he said, I'm taking my name off of like the 10 states and I'm still rolling, because then he's hopefully would have still got Secret Service.
Yes. But I think you had to say that because that was dealing made. That is what I think.
Yeah.
Cole Leedy says, for this election, you need more than 10-second attention span. And you know what? Let me bring this up also. I've talked about how this was changed. This is the first election, Cole, to your point, where a major candidate did so many long form interviews where people sat and listened to Bobby Kennedy Jr. speak for 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, 2 hours. And that had never been done before. Every time was like a quick interview, maybe here with ABC or something. This was long form. I think that may start in the future. I hope this is the beginning of that becoming the norm, that we get to know who the person is and have real conversations. I don't know. Am I wrong on this one, guys?
I mean, so it's all about, to me, because I went to school for marketing, so I just see this as a marketing thing. So there is this girl named Risa Tisa on TikTok, and she broke every single rule in the book. She made, because the longest you can do is 10-minute clips on TikTok. She made 10-minute clips. She had horrible lighting. She didn't talk fast. She just she stuttered, like all the wrong things. She had her bonnet on, like everything wrong that you're told not to do. You're told to have your ring light, look nice.
Yep, absolutely.
Short content. And she did an entire series of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? Part 1. And did it literally, it was, I think, 12 hours of content when you put it all together. She had that many parts.
Holy shit.
And we all sat there and watched the whole damn thing.
Wow.
We watched the whole thing. And like I said, everything was wrong about it. It was not short content, nothing. But what it was is it's the foundation of marketing. It had a good story. It was good storytelling. That is all marketing is a good story. And that's something that I don't think the Kennedy campaign really nailed down. Like you need an elevator pitch. Yeah. And how many times, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you've seen it, where he was asked several times, why do you want to be president? And he would go on and on and on. People need you to couple sentences, man. And then,
well, I'm going to give you an issue here, Anna. And I think where they didn't do as well as they could have, they didn't have enough surrogates. They had no surrogates, right? I mean, and if they had surrogates, if you listen to when I would represent him in the media, I would do all those things. Mm-hmm. Well, if they had more surrogates, guys like me doing those things, they would just copy what the surrogates are saying.
Yeah. Exactly. And when you are telling a story, it is important that you are able to keep the audience hooked. Yep. If we look at Bernie Sanders' campaign before we found out he was a cuck, you have, well, he is.
Tell us how you really feel, kid. Again, you keep holding back. I don't get it.
Like in 2016, there was a lot of momentum. Like Bernie Sanders had a following. Yes. Like him and Trump were able to fill up stadiums, and there were people listening to him. Hook, line, and sinker. There you go. And it cannot be denied what Bernie Sanders had. Same thing a little bit in 2020 as well. But notice then again, all these other primary challengers for 2024. mediocre. Kennedy might have had something, but he couldn't sell it. He couldn't sell it. He was able to get enough people in there for him to be a factor to help Trump, but that's about it. And
they just needed me. They just needed me.
They needed me and you, Anna. That's what they did. Me and you. We'd have been set. That's the problem.
And this is what I'm frustrated about, because I had Project Falcon where I literally did my own marketing. I was like, F them. I'm just going to do it myself. And it was so good.
Yep. So speaking of selling, Kit, Daniel has something for you. He says, I want the shirt. I'm all for petty revenge. I think you got to go to you got to have your own store. And
I'm all in for petty revenge. And you know something? I do have a revenge list, and there's some pettiness that must be done very soon.
There we go.
I didn't know, because I didn't know if I could swear earlier, but I was going to say, I always say that I'm a bitch, but I'm a nice bitch.
Okay.
Hey, this is a family freaking friendly show. Watch the language.
Yes, absolutely. I like that. That's good. That's really good. So let me ask now, guys. I want to wrap this up, and I'll take a couple more comments afterwards. Before I do that, and anything you want to get out before I go to the final comments?
Nope.
Excellent. Kit, anything you want to get out before I start going to some final comments?
Heartlands Media is live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central on YouTube, Rumble, Rockfin, Odyssey, and Kick. So please support Chicago's fastest growing independent media network. We're on Can TV, Channel 21. And on tomorrow's show, special guest co-host will be Matt Weinglass for the entire show of The Homeless Left. His channel is wrongly censored and demonetized, and we need to help him out.
There we go. All right. Some final comments. The JD Club says, Bobby said more in 5 minutes than Trump did the whole night at that rally. Trump needs to let Bobby speak more and turn him to focus on the issues, not the negative stuff. Do we think that it's good or bad that Bobby speaks more or less for either Bobby or Trump? I mean, in theory, if Bobby speaks more, does that link him more to Trump and make him less independent? Or does it make him more valid? Does it matter if he speaks more or less?
I mean, I think it's good just to get the message out. I mean, he got a whole stadium of heavy Republicans to say, like, yeah, we want clean food and water. Like, that's not something that you could get them to cheer on before, really, because they just associate Kennedy with like the Green New Deal and stuff. So, yeah, I think he needs to do it just to really push his message. And honestly, like we're talking about, I think him being around Trump is going to be good in the marketing sense, where he's already starting to refine his message. So I don't know if there's Trump team people coaching him a little bit and stuff, but his messaging is already a little bit different. So I think it's good in that sense.
Gotcha. Kit, what do you think?
Well, if Kennedy becomes a staple of the Trump campaign for the next 2 months, and if Kennedy is speaking, I mean, it could help. But then again, people are there to hear Trump speak. Trump is, what he needs to do right now is to be hitting with policies and really unloading every kind of criticism towards the Kamala campaign as well as the Biden-Harris administration for their failures. I mean, if he really wants to win this, he just can't go with petty personal attacks. He really has to hit hard on policy, economics, and he also better be hoping and praying that Kamala really screws up big for her first big interview. And yes, he should be preparing for the eventual debate that will take place between them. So he needs to start really stepping up and having a clear idea like, hey, you want to seek re-election? All right, win the people over. That's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Carly says, eating healthy is expensive, $3 signs.
Cash money.
I think it can be, but it doesn't have to be. There's a guy, he's a friend of mine. Actually, I had him on my show maybe a year ago. Got named by Dr. Tro. You can follow him on X. It's Dr. DOCTORTRO. He talks about eating well, but not as expensively. He does have a lot of ideas and concepts, so you can eat better without having to do it. And the next thing is, it's what Kit said. You can eat healthier just by starting to cut things out of your diet, right?
Yes,
just
and growing your own food too.
Yes,
yeah, we're growing a lot of our own food, and it's so crazy to see how much yield you get. Like, we have jalapenos for the rest of our lives at this point. And
Good.
and I'm a huge advocate. I really want to get a community garden growing and everything. We really have abundance right now, and it's so great. Like, even things as simple as romaine lettuce, it grows and grows. Like, you have it forever. So it's stuff like that. And then you know, we go to the farmer's market for everything, and I swear it's cheaper than the store. I really think so. It's just you have to stop buying in the aisles and buy on the outside of the store. You need to buy it. Call it the caveman diet, where it's one ingredient. You're not buying the processed food. Right. But, you know, these fast food restaurants and stuff, like going to McDonald's and stuff, ain't cheap anymore.
Not cheap anymore. No, it used to be. Not anymore.
No, but maybe that's a good thing that McDonald's is too expensive, because maybe people stop eating that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe,
so
yes.
I think if we need to get back to like making food from scratch. There was a video where someone was making bread and people were like, wait, it's only 4 ingredients to make bread. I was like, wait till people find out pasta's only 2. Like it's literally just
or either that, you know, also invest into rice too, because rice is delicious.
Oh, sure. Yes. We had a bunch of food comments here. Mike says, I'm drinking coffee right now.
Oh,
good.
Gosh.
Dave says, you can pry coffee from my cold dead hands. There we go. I like that. Mastermind Hour says, I can't quit you on Valdez Brokeback Colombian Mountain. So yes, people really like coffee. Ryan says, I won't give up my coffee or my Budweiser. Yes. So yes. Bad Cookies says, I drink coffee all day too, Anna. Coffee isn't bad for you as long as you don't drink it with sugar and drink water with it.
Okay.
Someone told me that too.
I limit.
They said I drink water with it. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I limit my sugar. I have limited down to 1 coffee. I have my morning coffee. It's sacred. If I don't have it, it's just, I always have it. Okay.
You got to have your morning coffee, just like I do for my morning show.
And I have a little like teaspoon thing, 1 teaspoon, and I do some agave nectar. But I make like a latte. I literally bought me a $750 espresso machine.
Man,
and you know
look
what?
At you.
I don't care though, because you know what? Ever since I've had it, I don't go out for coffee anymore. So it's saved me so much money, actually. But that is
$750 espresso. Excuse me, Anna. Sorry.
My goodness. Forgive. Pardon us, Your Majesty.
Exactly. Excuse me. Wow. Okay. So yes, Angie says, oh my God, no wonder why I love Larry. I've been keto 6 years. It's kept my cancer at bay. Love the keto lifestyle. Yes, I grabbed 14 years on keto. And I always say the same thing. If you don't know my age, I'm in my 50s. And I tell the story all the time. I only go to the doctor before I run for office, because I have to have records for run for. Otherwise, I don't go to the doctor. Like I've gone to the doctor twice in the past 10 years.
Wow. I
don't go to the doctor ever. I only go when I ran twice. I went to the doctor twice. So whenever I go, I get last time I went, they said, you know, oh, you made a mistake, Mr. Sharpe. I said, what? You didn't fill out your prescriptions. I said, I don't have any. But, oh, okay. Then the receptionist, the nurse comes to get me and goes, Mr. Sharpe, you have to fill out your prescriptions. I don't have any. Doctor grabs my paperwork. Mr. Sharpe, your prescriptions? I don't have any. No one believed I had no prescription. Yes. So that is my claim to fame of 14 years on keto. So, and again, I can't directly say that it's the reason why, but I'm going to say it because it makes me feel good. So I'm just going to say it's the reason why.
Well, I take berberine and inositol, which is super awesome, especially like as a woman with insulin resistance. That has really helped me. And I swear berberine, it's actually, it's from plants. All this stuff is from plants. Inositol is from greens. So you don't need to take all these supplements. You could just have more greens, and it like berberine is from roots. So like it's in turmeric. And turns out I read a study that berberine kills cancer cells. I'm like, of course it does. Of course it does.
I take berberine and turmeric, so I'm with you on both of those.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, turmeric's really good.
Yeah.
Colita says, you'll have gorgeous brains. This conversation has completely broke down into eating and brains, which is fine. I don't mind that, but it's all good.
Listen,
no
Larry, listen, we have beautiful brains. We're very smart.
Yes.
You have Anna up there. You have Larry. You have this guy named Kit from Chicago. You guys say some things. A lot of them aren't nice, but you guys are okay.
That's very good. So yes, Bad Cookie says Anna is living bourgeoisie. Ooh, look at you, Anna. See,
bougie.
You bougie. That's you. You bougie. I love it. So guys, here's what I'm going to ask all of you. If you haven't yet, please click that like button. It really does matter. If you haven't shared this, please share this. If you want to, please, if you can, do me a favor and put subscribe and or click that notification button. It does matter. The last piece I'll bring up is someone's asking about RFK Jr. being on the ballot in New York State. Here's how it actually works on New York State. He's doing the final conversation they're going to have. The hearing will be this Wednesday. There should be a decision within a week or two. I'm sorry, within a day or two, but it absolutely, without question, will be done within 2 weeks because they have to be, he has to be selected by September 10th in New York State. So we will know for sure within 2 weeks, probably at the end of this week, we'll have an answer. I believe we're going to win this. That's what I think, but we'll see how that works. Guys, I like that Grace says, she says, literally, comment after the show, please. Yes. You know that guy talking about Mr. Rhythm? Al Gore? Mr. Rhythm? That guy loves it if when you come back afterwards, after the show's over, and you put a comment down, and I'll respond to that comment. This way, we can make Mr. Rhythm very happy.
That's right.
I hope
the
everyone do
algorithm
that.
happy. Please, people,
Make
do
them
that.
happy.
Hit the like button. It does go miles to help out the
100%.
The content creators.
Guys, no matter what, follow the 3 people who gave us some time today. Follow Kit over at Hard Lens Media every single day, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central. Follow Anna over at the time. Follow Anna over at Anna R. Matson. And of course, we did lose Mr. McCall, but he is back. Check him out at Afro Reporter. Guys, I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. I do my live show out of WYSL, Rochester, New York. Call in. You can call me in if you want to talk to me. Live radio show at 1 p.m. I will see you all very soon.